Hey everybody, been a while.
Too long.
Too long. So we're it's Saturday afternoon. We're in the shop. We've been getting ready to go. So you're probably wondering, where have we been? Well, we've been right here.
We've been working.
We've been working. So every race that we were going to attempt has been either rained out or postponed or something. So right now, to get you guys up to speed, we're going to be headed to Malta, Albany-Saratoga, whatever you want to call it, on this Friday night. We'll go over there and race their opener. We had planned on going a couple weeks ago. They had one, but we couldn't go. Turned out we couldn't go because of tires. So there's been a lot of talk about tires. Let's talk about that for a minute. Hoosier, American Racer, they're busting their butts to try and get us all tires. But it's tough. We've gotten this rack of tires you look at here. These are all used. It looks like a lot of tires. It's not. These are all used tires from last year that we managed to save, and some of them aren't great. This is the only new tires we've been able to get a hold of, really. Normally we'd have 12, 14,
probably 16
brand new tires, and we can't get a hold of them. So that's a little bit of an issue. Trust me, Hoosiers working their butts off. American Racers working their butts off. It's not the track's fault. It's not their fault. They're having trouble getting the rubber. They're having trouble with labor force. They're having trouble with the logistics of everything. And you know, if you think about it, it's easy. Like when we were in Florida, there was, I don't know, say 80, 90 modifieds there. We're the only ones in the whole country in the dirt modified, the Northeast dirt modifieds, that were racing at that point. So American Racer got a load of tires down there, and we used those up, obviously. And then we went to South Carolina and finished using up pretty much what was left. When we left South Carolina, there wasn't much left there. I haven't heard lately what their status is as far as tires. They're making tires, they're getting tires out to people, but the dealers that sell us our tires are saying that they'll order, say, 300 tires, they might get 100 tires. Well, now, literally, there are thousands of Northeast dirt modifieds that are basically set to fire each weekend from now on out. Tracks open. So it's a lot, especially at the beginning of the season if the tires are used up. So you may see some different tire rules and things like that coming about, you know, and you may see your favorite driver, yeah, he ain't that hooked up tonight, and it may be just, you know, he's not on the tires that he wants to be. It's certainly not from the factories or anybody not wanting to give the tires to us. They certainly want to sell the tires, and the racetracks want to open. So we just felt like we should say something about that to the fans that watch us that are just casual fans, and you're not on the inside of what actually is going on with tires. It's on the Pavement side as well. As you guys know, Walt runs a Pavement modified. They've been limited to practice today, which it's raining, so they couldn't have. No practice tires. On a Pavement, that's really critical because, you know, other than learning that the car runs, you know, you're good for about 2 laps, and then when the tires are hot, it's junk. You're not going to learn a lot.
So, with Pavement modified stuff, tires are everything. So we're actually going to forego some practices because we can't get any new tires at all. We're going to get the ones I think to race on, and that's it. So our schedule, that might be kind of up in the air,
right, until
we understand what's going on with that. Because if you don't show up with tires for a Pavement car, if everybody's on new tires and you can't get new tires, you might as well leave it in the trailer. And overall, I mean, if everybody's on junk tires, you're just going to wreck equipment. Because when those come unhooked, it really comes unhooked. The dirt isn't as bad, you know, because we can grind the tires, take care of them. But those usually 50, 60 laps, tires are junk.
Yeah, depending on the surface that you're on. We can stretch them out a little bit. As far as the tires, while we're talking about tires, those guys that are wondering about them, we get a brand new tire, and we take and you see this is a brand new one. We call it sticker tire. See, it's got a sticker. It's shiny like this, and it's got all these little prongs on it. So we take this new tire, and we want to cut all that off. So we grind it, okay, to get the shine off of it. The same way when you're at a Pavement race, you see the guys weave back and forth. We don't have that friction like they do on the Pavement to scuff their tires, so we have to scuff them before. And what it does is when they come from the factory, this kind of sealed over. So the good rubber is just underneath that, the best grip. Especially when we get, why that's important is because we get a lot of racetracks here in the Northeast that are called New York Slick. So they get super slick. And so we want the best possible rubber that we can get to grab a hold of that. And trust me, we struggle with it in a crate car. Your big block drivers, it's even worse, where they have to really work on the tires. So in short, we grind them. Well, when we grind that, every time you grind the tire, even if we're not wearing the tire out, when we grind that, we lose some rubber. So we go out and run it for a night. And even if we didn't use a lot of the rubber, the heat cycle that goes into that tire, it'll seal the pores up and it'll make the tire, sometimes it will seal up and you can feel it. So what happens, we come in, we grind it again. So we continually lose rubber. So it's not like you can just say, well, it's got good tread. Lots of times it's just the heat cycles that go through the tire that will ruin it. We'll take tires off that still have solid tread on them, but it's the heat cycle hardens the rubber each time. When it hardens the rubber, I'm at a disadvantage versus the guy who's got new tires on. So going forward, those are some things that may be a little bit more magnified this season because of the tire thing. It may make it a little more interesting. You may see a little more, guys coming and going as far as on the racetrack, who's quick early, who's quick later, depending on the tires that they're on. But we just felt like it'd be kind of a neat thing to just let everybody know what's really going on. Again, the tire companies are working hard. It's not like they're holding tires back from anybody. The tracks aren't doing anything. It's simply we just can't get the parts and pieces to build the tires, or they can't, because we don't build the tires, obviously. Hoosier sent out a notice the other day, a nice letter. So they're working their butts off, trying to get us tires. And obviously the tracks want us to have them so that we can go racing. But in a nutshell, that's what's going on with the tire thing. And so it has limited a little bit the spring racing for some of us, along with Mother Nature. It's limited a lot of the early shows. But like we were saying, we're planning on going to Albany-Saratoga on Friday night, running that opener there. We decided to run Devil's Bowl Speedway. We're excited to go back to Devil's Bowl Speedway and race. That'll be kind of our home track for the season. So we'll be there most every week racing, Walt and I. And excited to do that. Nice place, fast racetrack, and really, really quality racers, competition level. That's one of the things when we're picking different tracks to go and race at that we look at. We want to race tough competition. And certainly last year, Lebanon Valley was tough competition there. And, we're going to miss going over there. But we're excited to go to Devil's Bowl Speedway. A lot of fans there. Like Walt and I have raced there on the pavement. We raced on the small track. I raced on the old dirt track. And now we've raced on the new dirt track. So every shape, form that they've had, we've raced on. And it's just a nice place to hang out. So... and lots of people that we know over there. So.
Yeah. The other thing that helped us, influenced us on that was the price of diesel fuel. Right now, when we did the math to go to Lebanon Valley with diesel, around here it's $5 a gallon. I was just in New York for the Lebanon Valley banquet, and it was pushing $6. So for us to go down and back to Lebanon Valley, we figured out in the truck with the fuel mileage it gets, it's $350. So that's pretty stout. I mean, that's a lot of money. Yeah. So to do that week in and week out just for fuel, that's not to pay for race fuel. That's not for anything else. No. That put kind of a damper in a lot of things, and a lot of, us traveling normally 3 hours. Lebanon Valley was 3 hours.
Yeah, but solid 3.
So for $350 every trip, that we had to look at it and kind of backstep a little bit with just the way the economy is right now, to afford what we're going to do. Everybody knows we don't get a ton of sponsorship money. There's nobody out back writing checks. I mean, we do get the great people like Akabe, CJ Autobody, Woodworks Tree Service that have come on aboard this year.
Yeah, to help out.
And they help us out a ton. But that just the day in, day out fuel cost.
It's going to affect
a lot of racers.
Yeah, a lot of racers throughout the country, not just us. And we're here just kind of using our platform to let everybody know. And this is for all the other racers. We have a bigger truck and trailer that we use to do this with. We do that by choice. You might say, well, you got a double trailer and a Freightliner truck. It's actually cheaper when we did the math. Why we ended up with what we got is because to buy 2 1-ton dualies and 2 trailers and all the tires and axles and everything and transport that stuff over the road, it's actually cheaper for a team like Walt and I to run what we have. So we're still cheap. If we were a single setups, it would be even more and would limit us even more.
When we went to Lebanon Valley during COVID, well, I don't know if is COVID over. I don't know if COVID's over.
What?
Anyways, but in the midst of COVID, there when everything was shut down, we went to Lebanon Valley 3 times, 3 or 4 times, and every week it was $400, you know, for both of us because we had to fuel on the way down. You know what I mean? We got fuel, and on the way home we had to fuel again. So it was
with our regular trucks and trailers. When we were running 2 trucks and 2 trailers, and so we cut our cost. Race cost.
Yeah, during the season, it was almost in half. It was about $150, $175 a week to go with the stacker in the truck. You know, and we got a great deal on everything when we got the truck and trailer.
Yeah, did a lot. Well, you guys saw in the video, we did a lot of work and stuff. So anyway, we don't want to bore you with a bunch of details about that stuff. Certainly, if you have questions, shoot them to us. We've been super busy since we've been back from North Carolina with business, which is good because that's what affords us to be able to race. So we had to work our butts off, and it's been kind of a dry spell. Again, we had planned on doing some racing, but didn't get the stuff. And if we can't do it the way we feel like we can or need to, then we're not going to do it. So anyway, that's kind of a quick heads up of everything where we're going to be.
Yeah, we'll be at Devil's Bowl. It's only 2 hours for us, so that's cool. We'll be home earlier. You know, again, it'll be a little bit cheaper fuel-wise, and we're excited to get back there.
A lot of nice fans, nice people.
Beautiful facility, too.
So, you know, good. And we're going to hit some other races, too, that are kind of, you know, we're not solid yet, but we will be racing around other specials and things like that as things hopefully allow us to do. So hopefully coming to a track near you soon. And But anyway, as far as that goes, we've been working on cars and stuff. As you can see, the cars they look like they're stripped down, but they're really not. The bodies are off of them. There was a little body damage in South Carolina, nothing major. Motors have been checked out and certified and everything. Let's show you. We'll show you. Well, it's easier on this one, I think, over here. So dirt makes the new motors have to be sealed. So you see that? See that right there? Hopefully you can see it. Sealed air, and I don't know, there's a seal down in there, but anyway, the new motors come out with this seal. This is from GM. Okay, it has to have that seal, and then it has to be recertified through a motor builder, and there's only certain ones that can do it. They have to go through, check the motor, make sure we haven't done anything to the motor, internals and stuff like that, and they send that into dirt, and then dirt sends these seals back to the engine builders, they're not really builders in a sense because the motor is built by GM. Engine certifiers, they certify it, and there's right there you can see my number? That's my number right there. I don't know what that really means, but anyway, they grind it, put it on my intake manifold. So that's the new deal that Dirt's got going to try and keep the playing field or racetrack as level playing field as possible. Competition wise, and I think for the most part it does, as long as the individual tech is done correctly and they keep up on it. I think it's pretty level playing field in the crate division for the most part. So yeah, a little bit of damage we're working on. We're gonna fix up a bunch of stuff to get ready to go. So anyway, the motors had been all sealed up.
Yeah. Mine's pretty well the same.
Yeah, Waltz is all sealed. Bumpers changed. We had a couple of rub rails. We got new bodies. The bodies that are on the cars are new, but they got a few wrinkles in them. We got 2 more bodies that have been sent out to be wrapped, and they're just buried. You know, Julie, who does our design work and stuff like that.
Yeah, Vision Sign.
Yeah, Vision Sign Works. She's just crazy busy with work. So we said, listen, you know, get them when you can. So there will be some new wraps, which again, that's when the new T-shirts and new hats, I believe, we're going to do.
Yeah, I think we're going to do T-shirts and hats this year.
So
new designs too.
Yeah, new designs. So all that stuff will be coming, and we'll have that stuff at the racetrack as soon as we can, so that you guys can check it all out as far as that goes. But yeah, so that's what's been going on with
not much
with us. And but yeah, we got talking. We're like, we actually miss doing this. We've literally been working so much with regular work, which we'd rather work on race cars, but it's just exploded, and so lots of that. But we will find time to race no matter what. So we're going to do a little repair work here. You can follow along, and we'll kind of point out what we're doing. I'll show you something that's kind of old days, but I'm actually repairing a rear bumper right now. Normally we wouldn't do that, but the cost of them, and I got the time, so I cut a couple pieces out. I'm going to weld them back in. Lost a jack tab down in South Carolina. There's supposed to be a tab underneath the car there that we jack the car up on. It sticks straight down here like this. It would be welded here, and then the jack goes up underneath it. Wouldn't be quite that long, but it broke it right off. So we'll put that back together, and then Walt's topping off. These things sometimes can be finicky with water, filling them up, the systems.
Yeah, I filled it, well, that much. We take in, because the radiator is higher than the engine, right? Yeah. Where we fill the radiator is actually level with the engine.
Yeah.
So we take this hose off and stand it up, so it's the highest point, and dump the water in through, so it pushes all the air out of the system. Because these are really easy. We get an air bubble. So pretty much you get an air pocket in there. If you fill it through here, you very easily can get an air pocket. And then, you know, we know that these take about 4 gallons of water, which you wouldn't think there's 4 gallons of water sitting here, but there is. Yeah. So we do that, and we fill it that way so we don't get an air pocket. What happens is if you get an air pocket, you'll run the motor, you won't realize it, and then all of a sudden the car is overheating, you know, and it's just simply because lack of water, and it's airbound. So there's other ways, you know, I've seen people bleed the system, do that. We've never had any issues. We just stand this up, fill it through the radiator that way. And then, you know, once we get close, we top it off, you know, through here. Usually it takes half, 3/4 of a gallon. So probably by the time we're done, it's got almost 5 gallons of water in it.
Yeah.
And then we use, you know, a product like Water Wetter. It's I don't even know what it is, but it keeps it cool. It's like 15 degrees cooler. Because we are not allowed to run antifreeze.
Yeah, it's not good for the environment.
Yeah,
and whatnot,
so like when we went to South Carolina and stuff, we chanced it, ran a lot of water, you know, and we put a half a gallon worth of antifreeze, a gallon worth of antifreeze. And then when we got them back in the shop here, we topped them off with antifreeze, because we don't keep this shop heated all the time. Because what would happen, you know, if it blows a freeze plug, it could break the block, and then your engine's junk.
Yeah.
So we don't want that to happen.
We certainly don't want that to happen.
So usually during the winter, these things get drained completely. You know, anything to do with water is not here.
Right. Yeah. Everything freezes instantly.
You know, when we got back from South Carolina, it was 14. You know, both times we got back, it was like 14 degrees. So the first thing we had to do when we got home was unload the cars, which you guys saw. When we got here, I grabbed the water jug and it was froze solid. So gotta love living in the Northeast, I tell you that. But now we're on the rain side and thaw. We don't have any snow left, so that's cool. But yeah, so we're getting close. We're going to be on to setup stuff here shortly. I'm going to straighten out some body panels. Like Dad said, we're going to run the bodies we ran with the STSS stuff, and hopefully get to hit some more of those shows as they line up, you know, financially and schedule-wise, because a lot of those are a ways away. I think the closest one they have is at Fonda. Fonda hates us, but we're going to try it again. I know that at some point. We will try Fonda.
Walt's a Billy Pouch Jr. fan.
I like Billy Pouch Jr., yeah.
I am too. I like Billy Pouch Jr. I like the Pouch family. They're good. The other thing that we have done, speaking with tires, is, and Walt did a lot of them, is change tires over. When we were in the South, all the races were on American Racer. So everything was mounted on American Racer tires, were mounted on our rims. We don't have quite enough rims to do both.
Not even close, quite honestly.
And so what you see here, this inventory that you see sitting here is basically the Hoosier inventory now changed over for 2 cars one night to go to the racetrack. And I don't know if we ever talked about it, but we usually go to the racetrack with 3 sets of rear tires.
Yeah, 3 sets of rears per car and 2 sets of fronts. So
now, those aren't brand new.
Yeah, every car ends up with, 10 tires?
Yeah, basically each car has 10 tires that are prepared for that night at the racetrack. Now, again, those aren't 10 brand new tires, okay? I want to make sure that we're clear with that. It's not 10 brand new tires, but 10 prep tires. So that means normally I do all the tires, that I have to prep 20 tires during the week for the cars. And what we have is two sets of rears that are our main deal, that we're pretty sure that's what we're going to run. Another set of spare rears that gives us a chance to move stagger around if we need to. And then the fronts, a primary set of fronts, and then a secondary set of front tires that sometimes we will change, sometimes we won't. Does every team go to the track like that? Probably not.
Well, probably though.
Well, I hope they do.
When they have one car, yeah, you probably
Yeah.
have that many wheels and tires
Yeah.
with you. We end up with, you know, probably 20 wheels. You know, by the time you're done outfitting the cars, that's why we had the storage up front, all that.
Yeah.
When we went to Florida, when I brought them down, we had 32 wheels and tires.
Yeah.
And that was because, you know, in South Carolina, we weren't sure if we were going to use tires up, which in fact we did. Same thing in Florida that one night. We used them up. Had to bring those junk ones home. They didn't just disappear.
Yeah, yeah. We have a pile out back if anybody wants some used tires.
Yeah, we bring them to the dump. It's still $3 a tire to get rid of them.
Right.
If anybody knows a healthy green option other than Heather's tomato planters.
Yeah, we got a couple tomato planters that are made out of Hoosier tires.
Yeah, maybe I'm gonna try American Racers next.
So maybe they'll grow better. That's the
tires are a lot of work. People don't realize that. You know, it took me. Dad was doing other things, you know, so we switch off. I mounted most of these up.
Yeah.
It took me a better half of 3 nights, you know, to get everything off, broken down. Then these aren't even prepped yet. You know, we still got to grind those, get them to where we want them. Hopefully they're sized, you know.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of tire work that goes on. It keeps, you know, the two of us busy pretty much all week. He takes care of tires, and then I take care of some of the suspension stuff, and then there's other things we both take care of at the same time. So we got a good thing going.
Yeah, we got a good system.
People realize they must think we're mad sometimes if they came in and didn't know. We don't speak to each other for 3 hours.
We talk to you more than we talk to each other.
Yeah, we're more focused on doing whatever.
Yeah, doing the thing. The other thing that has to be done from the switchover is there is a couple right here that haven't been. You see these right here. Those and that one probably. We call that putting them to bed. So even when we came back from racing down south, because we switched over to keep your tires fresh, and this is another pointer to other racers if you're not doing it, it helps, is we still, because we won't run those American Racers for a while, we don't just say, okay, that's it, and we take our tires and just throw them in the corner or put them out in the shed. They get done like they're going to get raced again. There's 2 things that's nice about that. One, when you go to race them again, they've already been prepped. 2, it keeps them fresh. So we go through the same routine where we'll grind them so that we've gotten the fresh rubber to them, and then we'll rewrap them, and then we put them away, and we try to keep them out of any direct light. They're all wrapped, and try to keep them out of like a direct heat or anything like that. So again, we don't sit them outside, and so they're put up overhead in storage, and that way it keeps them fresh so that it keeps a good rotation of tire for us when we go to that. Jenny has just joined us.
Jenny rolled in the dirt.
Yeah. So, but so that's the other. So there's a lot of work that goes into them. Some people do, some people don't. Some people maybe even do more. But hopefully, a few pointers for other guys. And that's what we do with the tires to try and keep everything as fresh as possible. The rims and stuff, because it's become a pretty expensive deal. With you take one tire, one rim.
The tires are almost $230 a piece now.
Yeah.
And then if you buy a brand new right rear wheel, which we haven't bought a brand new right rear wheel in a long time.
We buy all used wheels.
Yeah, we buy a lot of used wheels. We try and buy really nice used wheels. So we're not afraid to pay more for them. But right now, a brand new right rear wheel with a cover, I think, is pushing $460, $450.
Yeah.
So by the time you're done putting the wheel, that's $450. Then you put the tire on it. That's like $675. So we're almost $700 a corner for wheels and tires right now. So that's pretty nuts.
Yeah, and those are the same from car to car. It doesn't matter, big block, small block, sportsman car, limited, rookie,
sportsman,
limited.
Anything with a modified open wheel tire.
They're all the same. So, when you're out there and you see a guy cut one down or a guy wrecks, you should cringe with them, because that just costs your favorite driver and that driver and everybody a lot of money. So hopefully this year, there won't be a ton of that, and because I'm sure there's nobody out there that just wants to spend all kinds of money on nothing. But anyway, just a quick heads up where we're at and what's going on. So day 2, putting things back together. So this is what it looks like, beaten body panels, flat again.
Missed it 5 minutes ago. It looked like tinfoil.
Yeah. It's a good thing about like flow racing and all the stuff. It makes our cars look really good. You have no idea really how scun up sometimes they really are.
Yeah, they can be pretty wrinkled, and TV makes them look pretty.
Yeah.
Even sometimes NASCAR, you look at a short track car, not in anymore, but like you look at the low-funded truck teams, like when we were down at Loudon a bunch of years ago. Those trucks aren't straight, but on TV they look brand new.
Some of the Lucas Oil cars.
Yeah, the Lucas Oil late model stuff, they all look brand new. And some of them are far from it. They've been raced, in speed weeks all week. So if you're gonna rip the rear quarter off because you hit the wall every week, why keep putting a new one on? Just flatten it out. That's why MD3's making those rubber ones now. I saw.
So yeah, we put them down on blocks of wood. Pretty simple stuff, man. Blocks of wood, dead blow hammer, something to clean them off with, flatten them out, put a little patch behind it if you need to. Look like $1 million when we hit the racetrack. We'll use them until we can't use them anymore, and then we'll put a new body on. But we use them as much as we can.
Does anybody from down south that races in red clay know how to get it off?
Yeah.
We've washed and washed and washed, and we still have an orange film.
Yeah.
Are you using bleach, oil, gas? What are you doing to get it off? Because we can't get it off. You wipe it and it just smears. So we don't get to deal with that a whole lot.
No.
Usually we get lucky and wash it and it's clean.
Yeah, so we're open to suggestions for cleaning. We're still got traces of red clay everywhere.
Probably will all year.
Yeah. Not complaining. It's good clay. It's fun to race on. But anyway, so yesterday I fixed bumper. So now it looks brand new. That's a used bumper. Put a piece in here. This was all dented. Didn't have to fix it, but I didn't like the way it looked. I've already worked on this panel. Rear bumper, I think I showed you some pictures yesterday. That's the rear bumper now. Just a little bit of elbow grease and a welder. And a can of spray paint from the hardware store can make your stuff look good. And we try to keep everything looking sharp as much as we can for the sponsors that do help us. We like the cars to look good. We always kind of kid around, go, all right, it looks good at 100. That's what we got to make sure of. Or it looks good on TV. So little things like that. But it does make a difference, and you want your stuff to look as good as possible, all the time. And it doesn't mean that it has to be brand new panels. We'll even save vinyl pieces and patch in, if we need to, numbers and things like that the best we can until we can get a new number or something like that to make everything look good. So
this year we're actually going to have two bodies. We don't typically have that, but when we raced in Florida and these got spun up, definitely don't want to send them to the wrap person, just out of respect. I don't want to have her wrap this, because that would be a real pain in the neck. So we bought brand new panels to send up there. So they look good and they're straight. And technically now we have a spare body. So, hopefully not, but you can change bodies. Like if we go to an SDSS show or something, we can run this body, kind of change them in and out. Have a Speedway body and a short track body, something like that. It's always good to have extra panels, because after a while you get straightening and straightening and straightening and they get used up. I don't like straightening body panels. I don't like to do it. It's one of those things you don't want to have to do a whole lot.
Right. Yeah, we'd much rather work on shocks and springs going fast, setup stuff. But it's got to be done, so you just do it and get it done. So figured we'd show you a little bit of what we did accomplish yesterday. We didn't film a lot of what we had going on yesterday. There was a lot of cutting and grinding, pretty boring. But showed you the beginning, show that, and we'll show you what these all look like when they're back together again. Like I said, getting ready to go do some racing Friday night. So stay tuned.
Yeah. Next video will probably be
Friday night.
Weather
permitting. We'll get some footage of us headed out to Albany and hopefully some in-car and some racing. I know my feet are itching bad to go racing, and I'm sure his are too.
Yep.
So, and to be back at the racetrack with fans from here, that'll be great to see a lot of our friends that we haven't seen in a while. So
get everybody out of hibernation.
Yeah, everybody out of hibernation. It was almost like torture racing this winter and then having to stop for a little bit. It seems like it's been forever, even though it hasn't been that long.
Yeah.
But it has seemed like forever for us. So we're super excited to go back racing. So hopefully we see you at Albany-Saratoga on Friday. If not, Devil's Bowl Speedway, we'll see you there.
The opener there is first weekend in May 7th.
Yeah.
And we'll see. Maybe maybe we run in between there.
We
I don't know.
may. We'll see. Again, we'll definitely looking at budget and see what races pop up. We're always looking to race somewhere else if we can fit it in.
Yeah.
And do that. So maybe some specials here or there that pop up. Still some schedules that aren't super solid. Maybe some local stuff around here. We'll see. But anyway, thanks for watching. We really appreciate everybody who supports us. Send us questions, comments, everything, all of that stuff. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Make sure to like, subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks for watching.
See ya.